Hare Krishna, everyone, and thank you for watching. Today, I won't talk long, but I'd like to speak a little bit about community, because now that we're all sort of self-isolating and social distancing, and we're in this lockdown situation, it's one thing that a lot of us are probably appreciating a little bit more. You know, like the song goes, "Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone?" So now that we're sort of, a lot of us are deprived from the usual community groups and associations that we're used to, we're really feeling it. And yeah, I'm feeling very fortunate at the moment, because I'm here at Krishna House in Gainesville, Florida, which is a wonderful devotee community. It's a preaching center, and it's full of young, enthusiastic devotees. And we have a men's ashram and a women's ashram, and altogether our residents are around 25 devotees. And so we're in a lockdown, but I'm happy to be locked down with about 25 other devotees. And so our programs are going on, and we're having ecstatic kirtans and classes, extra classes and discussions and prasadam. And tomorrow we're going to be starting with Krishna lunch to go, serving prasadam to the community again. So taking a little bit of a risk there, but we need to do something for the community that we live in. So we're feeling really good about that. And yeah, I'm feeling very grateful also to our founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada. Just a sec, someone's phoning me. All right. Yeah, I'm feeling very grateful to Srila Prabhupada, because in founding ISKCON, if you look at the 7 purposes of ISKCON, there are 2 of them that deal with community, that Srila Prabhupada really emphasized the need to establish. Just a second, I'm going to turn these speakers off because people keep beeping. There we go. Yeah, Srila Prabhupada wanted to establish a society, a worldwide society, for the sake of bringing the devotees closer together, nearer to each other, and nearer to Krishna. And he gave us all these various programs, morning program, he gave us Harinam Sankirtan, he gave us deity worship, he gave us all these, he created situations whereby devotees can be together and share their experience of Krishna consciousness, share their spiritual realizations, and engage in 6 loving exchanges of, offering and accepting prasadam, revealing our minds in confidence, inquiring confidentially, and giving gifts, accepting gifts. So it's really a wonderful lifestyle, living with devotees and sharing Krishna consciousness with each other and with anybody else who's even a little bit interested. So yeah, I was just reflecting on how there's so much loneliness in the world. There was actually there was a whole issue of Psychology Today that was printed last year, and it was about loneliness. And the title was something like, I made a note of it somewhere here. Where is it? Yeah, loneliness, a new epidemic in the USA. So now we're having an epidemic of disease, but even before we were having an epidemic of loneliness. And if you look at the numbers for coronavirus, what percentage of the population, at least now, is infected with it? It's very small. But loneliness, it was the statistics were 47% of the population of America reported suffering from loneliness. And they went on to describe how loneliness actually has very solid correlations with physical health, in that there was a correlation between loneliness and early mortality. So people are actually dying from loneliness. And the negative effects, or the detrimental effects that loneliness has on health, physical health, is the same as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. So that was like really surprising, if you look at the cigarette packages and all the horrible diseases that come from smoking. Well, loneliness is just as bad. So it's a big problem, and it's even worse now that people are socially isolated and distanced from each other. So we need to try to help each other, because the things that make up loneliness are things like, feeling disconnected, feeling like whatever relationships that you do have are not meaningful. You don't have deep, meaningful relations with people. So there's a difference between loneliness and being alone, because people can be alone and, it can be a positive experience. It can be a time where you have to yourself, where you can reflect, you can pray, you can do mantra meditation, you can read, you can do art, you can journal, you can write, you can do an online course. So there's so many things that you can do in solitude, which are actually very uplifting and healthy, and that make you feel good about yourself and everything. But then there's another side of loneliness, to being alone, that entails a lot of emotional suffering, and that's loneliness. So especially for people who are more extroverted, then being alone is really difficult. So at this time, we need to really try to reach out to people more. There's really no excuse for feeling disconnected, because we have so many ways to connect. We can call each other, we can text each other, we can, Skype, we can, there's just Facebook. There's so many ways that we can actually connect with each other. And so we really have to strive to make those connections meaningful. And for me, a meaningful connection is not just talking about the latest news or what's going on in the media or the weather or politics, but to connect really means to connect as spiritual beings, as souls. And the way that I feel most connected to others is when we connect in the service of God, in the service of Krishna. So when we chant together, when we read the scriptures together and discuss the scriptures, when we do service together, yesterday I was talking about offering food to Krishna. So when we cook together for Krishna, when we clean Krishna's temple or property, when we work on Krishna's gardens, when we work together to organize outreach programs for introducing new people to Krishna consciousness, those are where you really feel deeply connected to people, because that's what we are. That's really what we are. We're not these bodies. We're not these external bodies. And ultimately the weather and politics and the media and even coronavirus doesn't really matter, because it doesn't really affect us as spiritual beings, because we are souls. And as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, the soul can never be killed. It can't be cut into pieces. It can't be moistened by water nor withered by the wind. The soul is unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same. So, and also the soul is by nature blissful and full of knowledge. So the soul has these wonderful qualities, and nothing can touch it, not even the coronavirus. So really, we don't have any reason to fear, because you could say the worst thing that could happen is that we could die. But actually, the soul doesn't die, so nothing can really happen to us. We might have a physical change, we might leave our physical body, but Krishna explains that that's like changing clothes. When our clothes get dirty or worn out, we take them off and put on a nice, clean, new outfit of clothes. So that's basically what death is. This body is a temporary covering. And even if we have to, when it gets too worn out, if we can't breathe anymore, if our heart stops beating, or, then we just leave that one, reject that body, and we get a new one. Or if we've perfected our spiritual lives, then we can go back home to the spiritual world to live eternally with Krishna, which is our real home. So in order to have this realizations, we need to be in good association. And that's why spiritual communities are so important. And that's why I feel so fortunate to be a part of one, a super dynamic and supportive and inspiring one. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all the devotees at Krishna House who make my life really wonderful. And I hope that all of those of you who are listening will make an effort to reach out to people and connect with them as souls on the spiritual platform, and try to engage in the service of Krishna in whatever way you can under the conditions at this time. And you'll feel much happier and uplifted, and you'll have relationships that will last, be very deep and lasting. So Thank you very much for listening. Hare Krishna.